Today on Us Weekly's reality recap, we're breaking down the Amanda Petula and Lindsay Hubbard drama. Plus, Corey and Jess's relationship goes to the next level. And is Ciara right for being mad about Olivia's possible appearance at Winter House? Put on your sweater, strap on your ski boots, and get ready for Us Weekly's reality recap. Hey guys, Christina Garvald here with Us Weekly executive producer Mandy Camp, and welcome to Reality Recap Winter House Edition. Lots going on this week.
Yes, a lot of hookups, steamy hookups.
Yes, didn't realize this was a soft porn, but here we are.
It was insane. We'll get to that in a bit.
Crazy. All right, before we get to all that, here's what you guys had to say about last week's show. Asia Powell said Jessica saying girls are intimidated by her because of how hot she was a super red flag for me. I saw this in a lot of places. A lot of people were saying that was a red flag.
Yeah. We'll get into it in a little bit, but yeah, she talks a lot this episode about how they don't compliment her. And to me, that's such an odd thing to complain about. Like, it's one thing if they're being mean girls, but are you just upset that they didn't tell you looked good?
That you looked pretty. Mandy, you didn't compliment my sweater today.
I know, I'm sorry, Christina. Shoot, we're in a feud now.
Seriously, you're such a mean girl. Yeah, that was a bit much. Like, I don't expect my friends to compliment me every time I walk into a room.
No. Is she complimenting them? Like, okay, we'll get into it later. Yeah. We have another comment. Kathy Vanyo says, I never saw them as a close couple or compatible with one another. They made sense 10 years ago on Vanderpump Rules as an immature, dysfunctional couple that partied hard together, but not in 2022.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they've been around for a long time. I can't believe it's been over 10 years that we've watched them on TV. She's, of course, talking about Katie Maloney and Tom Schwartz, in case you don't know. But yeah, it's still sad, but I agree. I don't think they make sense as a couple anymore.
No, I was actually, even back in the day, surprised that they did make it down the aisle. Because they did have, it was a very dysfunctional relationship. Mm-hmm. But, once they got married, they seemed like that they were in a good spot for a while. And then, it just kind of didn't work out. So you feel bad for them, but hopefully they're both in a good place. Sandy says, I don't see Austen and Olivia married. They're both good looking, but as a viewer, I haven't seen the chemistry yet. Is it just me? I think we need to see more. I mean, I think it was at the early stages of their relationship too on Southern Charm. So we didn't really it wasn't like a full blown relationship yet.
Right. I mean, that's interesting. I guess I can't say I've seen chemistry.
Right, that's true. Right.
I can't say I've seen a lot of it. They're cute together. But
not like when Austen and Madison were dating. Like you could tell, that was like a fiery chemistry between the two of them and a lot of passion. This is like, I don't know, maybe we're just here for fun.
Maybe.
Well, we'll have to say. All right, well, let's get into the news of the week. And obviously everybody's talking about the Amanda versus Lindsay drama. So we thought we would break it all down. So Kyle Cook weighed in on Amanda's feud with Lindsay, and he quickly claimed that Andy Cohen was at fault for the drama. So during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, Kyle and Luke were asked if they agreed with claims that Lindsay was rude to fans. Well, Kyle said, listen, I am actually going to turn it around to you. You are the one who brought up Lindsay's name last week. It was true. Andy noted that he guessed based on Amanda's comment about being nervous to answer. Well, Kyle continued, you guessed pretty quick, and then you said, was it at BravoCon? I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this rumor mill. Did any of your staff have any interesting confrontation with Lindsay? Well, in response, Andy played it coy by saying he will plead the fifth on the question from Kyle. Well, the Summer House ladies recently made headlines after Amanda, of course, alleged that Lindsay has had not so pleasant interactions with her fans. Amanda said on Watch What Happens Live, yes, she can be, when asked whether the publicist was rude to viewers. She continued, from my experience, she was wonderful at BravoCon. It's been more when she's caught off guard.
Okay. Well, first of all, I love it that Kyle turned the tables on Andy Cohen.
Me too.
I love that. And
Andy pulled you really turn the tables on the boss man? I don't know.
No, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't. We'll see if Kyle's back next season. Right. But I love that he did it.
Yes.
Well, Lindsay Hubbard weighed in. I'm not surprised she waved in here. She doesn't keep quiet too long. No. She took to social media and to set the record straight. She said, I want to be very clear. I don't work for Loverboy, yet showed up to support my friends over 30 times in 2021 out of love for Carl and out of support for my friends. Why would I do that if I didn't like fans or if I was rude? Why would I volunteer to be at more events than I need to be? Think about that one. She continued saying, wound up being 3 days, 7 total events of fan events for Carl. I went to support because we had just started dating and I wanted to support, but also because I support my friends and their company. I'm so effing tired of people dragging my name through the mud when I'm nothing but nice to them. Show them kindness, respect, and support. Clean up your side of the street because mine is doing just fine.
Ooh. All right.
Tell us in the comments if you've ever met Lindsay, had an encounter with Lindsay, especially if you were at BravoCon. I'd love to know.
Whose side am I on? BravoCon. She was lovely at BravoCon. I have to say she was. She was very talkative, very, and I mean, we've both met with her several times. And I mean, I haven't ever seen her be rude to fans, but I don't know. I'd love to see the comments.
Yeah. I haven't had any rude experiences with her myself. I wouldn't say she's the most friendly Bravo celebrity that we've met.
Right.
Totally fine.
Totally fine. Yeah, but interesting. It really was Andy who brought up Lindsay's name. So this whole thing did start with Andy.
It totally did. And I'm glad Kyle called him out for that.
Totally. All right. Well, let's recap this week's episode of Winter House, starting with our cringe of the night. So who does yours go to?
Okay, mine goes to Austen just in general. I mean, he's a lot of cringeworthy moments in this 2-week trip to Vermont.
Yeah.
One just being the flirting or the mean flirting, as I call it, with Sierra. He is flirting with her. I mean, he talked about her dancing. He talked about her underboob or someone's underboob. I'm not sure who he was referencing. And he technically has a girlfriend that he's dating back in Charleston named Olivia. So I don't know, Austen. What are you doing?
I don't know. I think maybe any chance of Olivia and Austen getting back together may be crushed after this. I don't know about that.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, totally cringy, this whole episode. Sorry, Austen. Maybe it's time to go back to Charleston. Mine went to Jess. Talking about, like we said, this was really X-rated for Bravo.
Totally X-rated. Wow. That was crazy.
Surprise! They went this
girl
far.
Says anything.
No, I mean, we had them moaning, we had them covering the TV camera, we had her talking all about what he did to her, how big he was. It was a lot.
3 hands worth.
3 hands worth. I'm not even going to go into what else she said, but it was quite uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, give it a look so you know what you're talking about. But wow, that was something. That was definitely more than I've seen on any other Bravo show in terms of hooking up, and not just a hookup, but more just what they said about it.
Yeah, totally. Like very graphic, very in detail. Thanks, Jess. Moving right along. Bravo Love of the night.
Bravo Love goes to Tom and Tom. Just love them. They bring a good party, especially a theme party. I have no idea what the theme was other than LED lights, but I wanted to be there. I wanted to be taking, absence shots. I just love them. I love Tom and Tom. They really bring a good time. Like I've said, we've met them several times.
Yeah.
I think they're the 2 nicest Bravo celebrities, speaking of people who are nice to their fans, that I've ever met. And I love that Tom Schwartz, when Amanda and Kyle were talking about Kody, he really kept it under wraps. He really didn't give much info and was protecting Kody, even though I'm sure they weren't in a good place when he shot this. He was still protecting her, which I liked. I also love that they cried about snowboarding. Also, they're all such good snowboarders.
They really are. Like, I would be a mess down that mountain.
Yeah.
I'd be staying in the ski lodge.
I would be crying if you made me go.
I mean, seriously. I love it. I'm so sad it was only like a 2-episode little appearance, though. I wanted more.
I wanted more, too.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Mine went to Rachel. Girl knows how to throw a nice party. I love a little dinner party. I like that. I do like that she's making the effort with the other girls, too. She said that she's like popping into their rooms, talking to them, getting to know them. I feel like she really made an effort, and I feel like she's fitting in nicely with the group.
I agree. Yeah. And I like that she kind of called Jess out for not making the effort. Like maybe Jess, if you just made the effort a little bit, you'd be on the same page as Rachel. So
I like her.
Yeah. I get excited about her and Jason, though. I'm like, are they into each other? I don't think they're that into each other.
I don't think they're that into each other either. I think it's just going to be like a winter house fling, which is fine. Do you?
Yeah, totally. All right. Who got your feud of the night?
Mine went to Sierra and Austen because this whole, should he bring Olivia and not like talking to other people before he talked to Sierra first? Then when he finally talked to Sierra, it was uncomfortable. Like, No, you're not going to bring your new girlfriend around your ex-girlfriend who you recently hooked up with and are still flirting with.
Right.
Recipe for disaster.
Recipe for disaster. And just why bother? You're there for 2 weeks. Yeah. Like, I know it's for the show and it would have made good TV if she came. But like, you don't need her there for 2 weeks.
No. And like Sierra said, it's just mean. Like, why are you going to throw it in my face? Like, I don't need to see it. Like, this clearly there's still feelings there and they just both need to move on.
Yeah.
And also Sierra is the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Like, what are you doing with Austen? Like, you are stunning. Like,
yeah.
Stop it. Who was your feud of the night?
Mine goes to Jess versus Paige. We already talked about it a bit. It was kind of rude though that after she hooked up with Corey was the one to tell Paige that she thought they were all being mean girls to her. The whole not complimenting her thing was weird to me. I just feel like that's a little insecure. I feel like you don't need compliments to be friends with someone. I do believe that maybe they weren't making that much of an effort with her, but I think it was two-sided. I think she wasn't making much of an effort either.
Sure. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's very, I'm sure it's very intimidating going into that house and trying to put yourself out there and like, maybe she wasn't received well at certain moments and things like that. And that caused her to retreat because she was insecure about herself. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, probably Corey going to Paige first, not the right move. I probably would have been mad about that, but I get it. Hopefully everybody comes together and they can take a shot and move on from all this mean girl stuff.
Yes.
Who was your quote of the night?
All right, my quote goes to Paige. It's more serious quote than we normally pick, but I liked it. She was talking to Craig about their problems that they were having in the beginning of the episode. She said, I take your energy. When you're upset, I get upset. Totally get that. As anyone who's been in a relationship, it's like if your husband or your fiance or boyfriend's in a feud, you feel like you're in it too, whether or not you have anything to do with it. So I felt for her a little bit in that moment, and it was good they were talking about it.
Yeah, I'm glad we got a Craig break this episode. Yes, I feel like we needed it. Like, at least he didn't cause any drama. At least he's recognizing that, which is what Paige said. Good for her for holding her tongue for the past few episodes and not going in on him and being like, what are you doing? Because that would have been me.
Yep.
Mine went to Corey because, like we said, they saw porn episode. So I think it will all come together as a perfect explosion in her pants. So,
wow, that's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's poetry. It's like Shakespeare. I can't.
Wow. It's so funny because I still feel like we don't really know Corey. But now I feel like we know so much about him.
Right. I mean, like frat boy Corey. Let's just...
Wow.
But next episode looks good. Lindsay and Carl come based on the teaser. And so that's going to cause some drama, especially with Austen, because they may or may not have hooked up around the time Lindsay and Carl started dating. Jason is in the house. And, I like totally blanked that the two of them, were together when she had her miscarriage. So they suffered the miscarriage together. So I think there's going to be a lot to break down next week too.
Definitely. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to our social spotlight of the week. Who did yours go to?
Mine goes to Ashley Darby and Luke. We already dissected their little sporty weekend that they had on our other show, Getting Real with the Housewives. So check that out if you don't watch. But can't not talk about it here too. She posted this TikTok video with Carl, Luke, Lindsay, all in DC this weekend. She said, a quarter of us are happy about the Viking victory today, of course, alluding to the fact that Luke is a Vikings fan. Right. Yeah. Sorry. Alluding that Luke is, of course, a Vikings fan. But yeah, they had a nice, cozy weekend together in DC. Went to a lot of sporting events. I'm shipping this couple.
I'm shipping it hard. Good for them. I like it. Love to see it. It. Mine went to Sierra. It was Paige's 30th birthday recently, and she posted this really cute little montage of some of their favorite moments together, out in the city, on Winter House, Summer House, eating Lunchables. It's really cute. So happy 30th birthday to Paige.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Reality Recap. Please let us know in the comments your thoughts on Winter House, and we will see you next week. Bye. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.